interest in teaching is declining, which is a big problem when you consider that schools across the nation are having difficulty filling critical teaching positions. One big reason for those vacancies? Teachers will tell you, it's that they need to be treated like other highly skilled professionals. And that includes how they're paid. The good news is that North Carolina is at the forefront of a national movement to redefine how teachers are paid, with programs like advanced teaching roles and strategies like front-loaded pay. But there's only so much these strategic investments can help when the salary structure that they're layered on is so outdated. Because when you think about it, even though we're already 2 decades into the 21st century, our educators are preparing our students for the modern economy while working in an educational environment that was designed in the 1800s. Sure, the technology and the curriculum have definitely changed, but the way we organize our schools and classrooms and the way the system treats our education professionals has barely changed at all. Unfortunately, the way teachers are compensated nationwide is also stuck in the past. While compensation strategies for other highly skilled professions have evolved for a modern workforce, teacher compensation has failed to keep pace. In fact, over the last 30 years, average pay for college-educated women has grown 50% more than for teachers. And why is that important? Well, to understand, we'll need to go back in time. You see, up until the 1960s, more than half of all college-educated women became teachers. Why? Because back then, women had fewer career options and limited opportunities within the workforce, which made teaching a desirable career path. The teaching profession also adopted a pay schedule based on years of experience, with experience serving as a proxy for effectiveness. This meant that, regardless of a teacher's individual skills and capacities, their pay was based primarily on how many years they had taught. And for a long time, that was about it. And this step-in-lane schedule was the norm throughout the 1900s. Sound familiar? Well, it should, because it's basically how we pay teachers today. That's right. Just like the outdated way we design our schools and classrooms, the way we pay teachers is designed for the workforce of an entirely different century. Which means we still use a step-in-lane schedule that most private industry moved away from decades ago. And we still use a compensation system that was developed in a time when college-educated women didn't have as many career options as they have now. And with critical vacancies in STEM and special education, an inadequate number of fully licensed teachers, especially in hard-to-staff schools, and vast inequities in student access to effective educators, it's clear that strategic investments in teacher compensation can play an important and necessary role in modernizing the teaching profession to recruit and retain the best and brightest into our classrooms. You see, like any other highly skilled professional, teachers deserve a pay structure that starts at a competitive level, increases substantially in the first 7 to 10 years, rewards strong performance, offers opportunities for advancement, and allows them to support their family. For instance, instead of just more of the same, what if we invest in a modern system that not only increases base pay, but attracts top talent into education, allows them to support themselves and their families earlier in their careers, and creates real opportunities for career advancement? What if we found a way to compensate educators in a way that not only positively impacts teachers, but also increases student achievement school-wide? With these questions in mind, Best NC published a first-of-its-kind report that examines the past, present, and reimagined future of teacher compensation in North Carolina. It ultimately recommends a substantial, multi-year investment in teacher pay that will significantly increase starting pay to attract top talent, replace the outdated step-in-lane schedule with a front-loaded pay structure that provides all fully licensed teachers with a living wage, establish competitive, differentiated pay for high-demand degrees like STEM and special education, and broaden incentives for teaching in hard-to-staff schools, and implement advanced teaching roles statewide to offer career advancement opportunities for many teachers and embedded professional support for their colleagues. And of course, year after year, this revamped salary structure would adjust for increases in cost of living. Together, these strategic compensation reforms can help ensure that North Carolina has the best possible educators in our schools, receiving the respect, support, and resources they need to provide a high-quality education to each student.
I'm now joined by my colleague, Leah Carper. Leah currently is the Director of Stakeholder Engagement for Guilford County Schools, but she was also the 2022 North Carolina State Teacher of the Year. And I think one thing that's really cool right now is looking out in the audience and seeing several previous State Teachers of the Year who are part of this Innovation Lab. And one thing that we've all had in common is that we all have advocated for teacher pay. We maybe come at it from different angles, we have different ways of approaching it, we have different arguments that we make, we have different ideas on maybe the path forward for that, but we all have advocated for teacher pay. And when you have the top teachers in your state who are still coming back to this Innovation Lab year after year to look for solutions on how we can better support our teachers, that's something that's important, and it's something that's impactful. And it's something that we have an opportunity as we continue to look for ways to improve the teacher pay in our state. It's a great opportunity for us. I'm sure many of you have heard me say we have no such thing as a problem in public education. We only have opportunities for solution. And looking for solutions for teacher pay is one of those opportunities that we have to make things better for the teachers in our classrooms so that they can make things better for the kids in our classrooms. So Leah, I know you've had a really unique pathway into education, and you have a really great story to tell that helps us understand why it's so important that we are supporting teachers in the way that they're being paid so that they are earning money in a way that represents their professionalism.
Okay, best friends. So in 2006, I started teaching in the wonderful Guilford County Schools. Whoop, whoop. Yes, thank you. Represent. And I was fresh out of college. I went to community college, and then I went to UNCG, which were very affordable options for me. And I took out student loans. And in December of my first year of teaching, I found out that I was pregnant. My first paycheck was amazing. You guys, I had $2,400. I thought I was rich, okay? And then I got pregnant, and I realized, oh no, we're in trouble. You know? So I was very, very worried. I had my first kid, and then the next year I went back to school because I didn't have a lot of money. I'm still paying student loans. And my husband and I decided, let's have another baby. And we did. So we have these two beautiful girls, and I'm making $2,600 a month, and paying childcare, and paying student loans, and paying rent with no family that's supporting any of that, you know, income coming in. It was very, very difficult. And so I said to myself, I'm a great teacher. I was such a good teacher. I was a blue teacher. Dr. Contreras used to write me handwritten notes saying, yay, you're such a good teacher. She did. I loved those. I don't know if I've ever told you that. I loved those. She would send them out to her blue teachers. She was a great superintendent. And I was not making any more. Every year I'd make $100 more, you know? For the first 15 years of teaching, you make $100 more in your paycheck a year. Guys, that's not enough to sustain any family. And so I didn't want to be, I'm not going to get super personal, but I didn't want to be in a situation like my mother had where she had to rely on anybody else. And so I was worried that if something happened to my sweet husband, that I would not be able to sustain my family. And so I took out student loans and I got a principal's license because the only pathway to make more money as an educator is to leave the classroom and not get to be the thing that you love so much. And so I'm still paying off those student loans because I didn't know about the Principal Fellows Commission or the Principal Fellows Program. Boo, fun fact, I'm actually on that commission now, believe it or not, and I'm still paying off those student loans. But that was the only pathway I saw. I didn't want to be a principal. I wanted to stay in the classroom where I could impact great students and give them a future that they couldn't even imagine for themselves. But the truth is, unless I have somebody else bringing in an income, I cannot do that. I cannot raise my children and my family in North Carolina on that paycheck.
Yeah, and that's the reality for a lot of our teachers, is like trying to balance what's coming in with what they need to pay out, right? You know, you mentioned looking for opportunities to stay in the classroom, but still make more money. And I know, you know, with advanced teaching roles, that's something that you've been a huge advocate of for your entire career. And when you look at that, you really understand that that teacher pay does have a positive impact on our students' performance. Could you tell us a little bit about that and kind of your viewpoints on that?
All of our students deserve to have access to excellent teachers, right? Our students deserve to have excellent educators impacting them every day. But y'all saw the statistic that 41% of our teachers coming into the workforce, they haven't student taught. The only information that some of them have about education is the memory that they had about how their teacher taught them however many years ago. And so they're great, they become great teachers, don't get me wrong, many of them will become great teachers if we can keep them, but at the beginning of their career, our students are exposed to 40% of their teaching workforce are teachers who have no training. When you have advanced teaching roles, what happens is there are teachers who take care of those other teachers. They're in their classrooms every day helping them with student behaviors. They're helping them learn how to evaluate the data that their students are coming in with and the things that their students are producing, and helping them plan lessons to benefit their students. So now what happens with advanced teaching roles is that excellent teacher gets paid more money to be in charge of more students to help make other teachers better. It's beautiful. And I'm telling you right now, teachers in Guilford County love it. There was this teacher, we're gonna gossip. There was this teacher. We had brought Senator Phil Berger into our school to see one of our schools to see advanced teaching roles. He's like, show me the money, show it to me, what you got? And she said to him, I was one of those Red for Ed teachers who put on the shirt and went down to Raleigh to fight for teacher pay, and I was mad. And I thought that we should just pay everybody more, like what are we waiting for? And then she said, I was given the opportunity to be an advanced teacher. And it's so much more than just giving me more money. It's giving me a career pathway. It's growing me as a person and as a leader. It's growing my abilities to shine. And she said that that's so much better for her than for, I don't want any of y'all going home saying I said do not pay teachers more. I did not say that. But what she was saying was it's so much better than just a blanket, here's some more money. Here's an opportunity. Here's an opportunity to shine and to impact more students. Because I'm going to tell you this right now, what teachers love is to impact students. That's why we got into this business. We did not get into it for the fame and the money, okay? We need money, okay? And we would love for you to hold us up as if we're fame, right? Like you're famous. But what we want to do is impact kids. And so those great teachers can impact even more students. And it's wonderful.
Not all of our teachers in their early career have an opportunity to go into advanced teaching roles. But many of them are effective in those first couple of years as their teachers. So before they actually get to the point where they are getting their continuing license, the 5-year renewable license, they're already demonstrating effectiveness. So can you talk about the importance of front-loading the teacher pay schedule and why it's really important that if we have teachers that are effective practitioners and are growing their students every year, why is it important that we're looking for ways to compensate them as a professional since they are doing professional level work?
My friend Kim Jones is the 2023 North Carolina State Teacher of the Year. Do you want to tell I know she's cute. She's my, can you share about basketball teams?
And Kim, it's a push to talk. There you go.
Just push it down.
Gotcha. Sure, Leah. I had said presently, we often talk about teachers working on the same team, and we absolutely do work on the same team. If you are a member of this team, there should be a floor commensurate with cost of living, with our profession, et cetera. It should be a yes and. We should begin with a livable wage that treats us like the professionals we are. However, I also like to say that Michael Jordan and John Stockton were on the same team. They did not make the same salary. there is also a point where we have to acknowledge the skill, the growth, the talent of individual star people who are putting up numbers, who are affecting students. And so when we think about advanced teacher roles, yes, we were all bulls. We were all on the same team. However, we have Michael Jordans among us, and they deserve to be compensated and elevated in ways that reflect their impact they're having on students.
Thank you, Kim. Who are the playmakers, right? Who are the playmakers? Who are the ones who are leading the drive, who are leading the data chats, who are sharing their resources with each other? Who are those teachers? I will tell you, when I was a 5th-year teacher, there was a teacher in our school who was in her 16th year, and she made a lot more money than me, and she did a lot less work than I did. I created all of our tests. I helped make sure that our data was analyzed properly. I planned all of our lessons. And she made more money than me. Do you know how mad does that make you mad? I got a little grumpy about that sometimes. And that's not right. We need to pay people based on, first of all, we need to pay them a livable wage, right? So we can have families and we can live in North Carolina, because that's what we want to do. We need to do that. But also we need to say, hey, you're the MVP. Here's a little bit more money for that. Thank you for that work. You're taking on extra responsibilities. So here's some extra pay.
Well, thank you so much, Leah. We really, really appreciate that perspective, and thanks so much for sharing so many stories to help us understand why teacher pay is so important. I would also like to remind everyone that we did just publish our latest update to our teacher pay report. In the program that you have inside of your folders, there is a QR code that will take you to that teacher pay report. You can also access it from our landing page under our work on our innovation plan.
Also, if you want to talk more about teacher pay, come to our breakout session later. We are delightful. It's a good talk.
Leah went ahead and did that for me. So Leah and Eugenia Floyd will be in the breakout session for the teacher pay, so accelerating teacher pay through effectiveness. So we invite you to join that breakout session after lunch if you would like to learn more about how you can accelerate teacher pay through effectiveness. Thank you so much, Leah.
Yeah.